Hello, my name is Stanley, and welcome to Anime Colosseum, bringing to you gameplay from my local tournament of Union Arena. On the left, my opponent is playing Integrity Knights that uses Kirito, Alice, and GGO. Integrity Knights raid targets give each other different effects based off of who's on the front line. I'm on the right playing GGO that uses Kirito and Shion to get rid of a lot of my opponent's resources, making it harder for them to be able to go for game, while at the same time allowing me to go for game. That being said, let's get into some gameplay. My opponent starts off with a 0-drop GGO and pass turn. I go ahead, drop a 0-drop Kirito, then I play a 1-drop Yamikaze that bounces Kirito back to hand, pass turn. My opponent tap 1, and he ends up deciding to go ahead and AP draw. Then he plays a 1-drop Alice in the front line and pass turn. Right now, I'm going to play a card called Spriegel. The card reads, if there's a yellow or blue card on your opponent's field, reduce the card's required energy by 1 for while in hand. After that, I make a slight misplay with the next drop by not doing the required search. Now my opponent uses the keyword on Alice, which is step, which will move it back into the energy line, plays another Alice, one more Alice, and then raids GGO, attacking into my life. Taking, no trigger, pass. Right now we're about to use one of the keywords of my deck, which is snipe, that doesn't attack into life directly, but attacks a character onto board. So I play a 0-drop Shion, then I play a Kirito, and then now I raid Shion. Afterwards, I go ahead and snipe the GGO. Now, because I won a battle, I look at the top 2 cards of the deck, put it back in the top or bottom in any order, and give a character on board plus 1,000. Then I swing with the second Shion, gets to add the hand trigger, and then pass. With Shion using the snipe ability, now for following turns, we either have to raid another Shion or use the option card that gives snipe back to the character. While my opponent is trying to figure out his energy and how he's going to play out his next turn, he does decide to play a card called Memories of the 3 Children that reads, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 2 Kirito, Alice, or GGO cards among them and add it to your hand. Place the rest of the cards at the bottom of the deck. He now searches top 5, and he decides to grab a GGO raid and a 0-drop Kirito. We do end up having another misplay happen. He's going to raid Alice that reads, choose up to 1 character with 2,000 BP or less on your opponent's front line and sideline it. If there's a Kirito or GGO in the front line, sideline the 3k BP instead. If there's a Kirito and GGO in the front line, 4,000 BP instead. He doesn't have anything in the front line, so he couldn't actually kill the Shion because Shion is sitting at 3k BP. So now we AP draw, turn extend, and now we play Silica that reads, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, place any number of them at the top of your deck in any order, then place the remaining cards in your sideline. Silica isn't a GGO affinity card, but it's a good card to help you find your Kiritos. Next, we're going to raid Kirito, and then we're going to use the special Ultima Ratio Hecate 2 on Shion, which reads, choose 1 character on your field. It gains 2,500 BP, and when this card attacks and wins, draw a card. If the chosen character is Shion, it also gains snipe. So now we gave snipe to Shion. She snipes, take care of the Alice, look at the top 2 cards, then give Kirito 1,000 BP, and then Kirito now attacks, and he has impact, but he also has, if a character wins a battle, he gains damage too. So I was able to do 2 damage off of that attack. That's not the only thing that Kirito does. On my opponent's turn, if my opponent wants to target me with an event card, he has to discard a card from hand to be able to use the event card. So now, in order to target Kirito, I'm negging my opponent 2 cards from hand. So my opponent ended up raiding a GGO and playing a Kirito up in the front line, but he ends up passing turn because I could block both attacks. Right now, I'm trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to do because I want to capitalize off of the fact that my opponent doesn't have one of his key pieces. So now I'm going to play a Kirito, and then I'm going to raid a Kirito and then play another Kirito in the front. Now that's giving me 2 5k blockers and 2 4k blockers. Now we attack into life. I chose Xion first specifically for her win the battle. I was thinking that he was going to block, so I attack with her first so that I could buff another character 1,000, but also filter the top of my deck. So now he ends up taking it, and I get punished for it. One of my Kiritos die. I attack again, impact. He used nullify impact to pretty much stop that attack from going through. Now my opponent is trying to figure out what he's going to do. So he ends up playing a card called Ronnie Arabelle that reads, when played, return 1 other character on your field with 1 or less energy to your hand. If you cannot, return this character back to hand. So he plays it and bounce one of his low drops back to hand. And then after, he hits me with 2 specials, which kills both my Xion and my Kirito. But for the Kirito to be targeted, he had to trash 1 more card in hand. I triggered a color trigger, but I had no cards in hand, so I had nothing to play. AP draw, tap 1 to play a Xion, and then raid Xion. I go ahead, snipe, look at the top 2 cards of my deck, filter out, give the character on board plus 1,000, and this Kirito reads, when he's 5,000 power or more, draw a card. So I filter out what I needed, and then I drew a card with the Kirito. He got a raid Alice from life, which adds to hand because he doesn't have enough energy. So now he taps 1, plays a GGO to have the 2 names in hand to be able to KO something, play Alice in the back, and then raid Alice, killing my Xion. Now he's just reading to make sure if a character gets an effect. I get a get trigger, which adds the Xion to hand. And then now I'm deciding if I want an AP draw. I'll go ahead, AP draw. Tap 1 and play a Kirito, which is a 4-card search. Go to search the top 4 for a GGO affinity card. I add a Xion to hand. And while it does add a GGO affinity card, it cannot search Kirito, which is kind of bad, seeing how there's no other searches in the deck. After the search, you have to discard a card. So I end up discarding a card and then tapping 1 to play a Xion in the front. Then I attack Kirito, and he is deciding on if he wants to block it or take it. And he ends up blocking. Pass turn. Now, my opponent taps 1 to AP draw. And he taps another to play a Alice in the back. And then he taps 1 more to play Broccoli. I don't know his name. Yu-Gi-Oh goes in attacks. He hits an active trigger, and then he passes turn. Now I go restand my AP. I tap 1 in AP draw. Then I tap 1 and play Kirito 4-card search. We search the top 4. We add Xion raid 2 hand, and then we trash a card from hand. Tap 1 and raid Xion. Now we attack, snipe his impact target, search top 2, add 1 to the top and bottom, get plus 1,000 to Kirito, attack, and draw a card. He's deciding on if he wants to take, which he ends up taking, and he gets a GGO raid, and then I pass turn. Being able to consistently snipe targets from my opponent, he's now run out of resources that he's looking for to try to push through this game. So he AP draws, and then he taps 1. He plays Alice in the front, tap 1 to turn extend, tap 1, and ends up playing a GGO in the front, unrated. Attack with Alice, he takes. I'm now down to my last life. I get Ray Kirito, stopping his last swing, and then pass turn. I AP draw, and then I tap 1 and play Kite the second onto Shion, giving her snipe. Then I tap 1 to turn extend. Then I tap 1 and play Yuki, drawing 1, then trashing 1. I'm checking through my trash to see if the card that I'm trashing I still have a good number of in the deck. Now I give the other Kirito plus 1,000 with Kirito's activate main. We attack with Shion and snipe, but we're trying to figure out which one of the Alices to snipe. But seeing how he still has enough energy in the back, I sniped the rated one. We won the battle. We look at the top 2. We put both of them to the bottom. Kirito now impact double damage. And that's game. Alright guys, GGO end up taking the game. If you liked what you seen, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. Also leave a comment to see what I could do better with my next video. Alright guys, peace.